All right, so yes, we're getting started. Thank you everyone. Thank you everyone for being here today. Welcome to our 2020 convention for One Northside. So it is from crisis to opportunity. So we're here and we acknowledge that you are being part of this this big collective power, everything that we can do. So, right, we're getting started. We're gonna get started in Spanish and I'll come back to English. Bienvenidos, bienvenidas a la Convención 2020 de One Northside, de crisis a la oportunidad. Agradecemos infinitamente que en este tiempo de tremenda crisis estén con nosotros. Mi nombre es Elia Báez, soy la nueva presidenta de la Junta Directiva de One Northside. Mis pronombres son ella, she. Hoy voy a conducir con el pastor Fred Kinsey y Bryce Fields. Este evento se organizó conjunto con nuestra organización hermana One People's Campaign. Tenemos traducción e interpretación en español a través de Zoom. En la parte de abajo ya se encuentre 3 puntos o el mundo. Escoja ahí, haga clic. Ahí le va a dar las opciones de lenguaje. Puede escoger ES para Spanish. Y luego elija mute al audio original. Si hay alguna dificultad, algún problema para acceder al español, por favor escriba ayuda técnica en el chat. Así es que nuevamente, en la parte hacia abajo está ya sea tres puntos o el mundo. Haga clic allí y elija mute al audio original para que no se confunda. Y si hay alguna dificultad, por favor escriba ayuda técnica en el chat. Muchas gracias. All right, so this is the official welcome to One Northside's 2020 or 2020 convention. Again, this is from crisis to opportunity. In this time of tremendous crisis, we are so grateful to be here together with you. My name is Elia Baez. I am the president of the board of One Northside. My pronouns are she, ella. I will be your MC today, and that will be along with Pastor Fred Kinsey and Bryce Fields. We are organizing this event in conjunction with our sister organization, One People's Campaign. And now, I would like to introduce my co-MC and former board president, Fred Kinsey. Welcome, Fred. Pastor Fred.
Thank you so much, Elia. Great to see everybody. My name is Pastor Fred Kinsey, and I am pastor at Unity Lutheran Church in Edgewater. I'm on the board at One Northside. I use he and they pronouns. So who is One Northside? We are a grassroots, mixed income, multiracial, intergenerational organization that works for justice and dignity for all people. We bring together everyday people to build collective power so we can win transformative changes on the issues that affect every facet of our lives. While we work on big systemic change, we also know there is work to do to transform ourselves, our relationship to each other, and our relationship to the world. And we are serious about doing that work here too. We're sad at this time that we can't be together in person with you, but we're grateful that we can still come together electronically. And so to help us do that in a productive way, here are some ground rules for us today. Please keep yourself muted. That will help everybody. Feel free though to use the chat feature to send messages to everyone or just to one person if you want. And that way we can feel a lot more together via the chat. Also, we'll be recording this event. So if you do not want your image recorded, just turn off your camera. Or if your connection is slow, turning off your camera may help as well. Otherwise, we invite you to keep your camera on. And if the video or the sound is glitchy, try logging out and coming back in. And you can also message tech support in the chat if you need help solving other technical difficulties. All right, please label your picture with your name and pronouns by using the 3 buttons on the top right-hand corner of your image. Pronouns are how you'd like us to refer to you. Common pronouns are she, her, he, him, or they, them. And please stay in speaker view so you can see the person who is presenting. And that button's in the top right corner of your computer. Click the close captioning button at the bottom of your screen for captioning of the opening and closing plenaries. This will help you know what is being said, even if the audio is glitchy. If you'd like closed captioning during the workshops, you should stay in the main room for the housing workshop. All right, so we're about to get going here. Here's what you can expect today. We'll be together for the next 40 minutes for our opening session. Then we will break into our campaign workshops for 45 minutes. Finally, we'll come together for a brief and truly inspiring closing together. If you did not select a workshop prior to joining today, you'll be in the housing workshop. Now, I'm going to hand it over to co-MC and our artist, Bryce Fields. Take it away, Bryce.
Thank you, and thank you everybody for moving this morning. So important, especially in the movement. My name's Bryce Fields, and I'm the board president of One People's Campaign. I use they, them pronouns, and I want to also acknowledge that we're still learning. So in the future, hopefully this will be the first thing that we do, which is to graciously acknowledge the lanes that we are on, the Council of the Three Fires, the Ojibwe, Odawa, and Potawatomi people and their lands, who deserve our acknowledgement and honor. So for those of us in Chicago, want to acknowledge this land that we're on as visitors today and every day. And also there's a link in the chat, or there will be a link in the chat for you to see whose land it is that you are on. And feel free to put it in chat if you like as well. So I'll pass it back to you, Pastor Fred. Thanks again.
All right, excellent. Thank you, Bryce. You know, right now, we are in the middle of this tremendous pain and loss together as a society, because our communities are facing multiple crises: a global health pandemic, an economic recession, and the ongoing epidemic of anti-Black racism and violence. We are all grieving. It can be easy to lose hope, which is why I feel that One Northside is so important. We come together to turn our loss and our anger into action, to create change for the better. We know it doesn't have to be this way. Today, we will begin to heal our wounds by honoring our pain and charting a different path forward. So now I want to turn it back to my co-host and board president, Elia.
Thank you, Pastor Fred. Next week, the United States, our nation, is expected to reach 200,000 deaths from COVID-19. These numbers represent people that have names and family members who are grieving their losses. I personally have lost my uncle, Inocencio, and my cousin, Gemma Martinez. My friends and family are hurting, as I imagine many of yours are too. Beyond the grief, COVID is destroying families and their sense of stability in so many ways. We are facing massive unemployment, food insecurity, evictions, foreclosures, increased domestic violence, parents expected to work and provide childcare at the same time, and of course, illness. On April 23rd, my friend Patricia's son was hospitalized. He was infected with COVID-19 while working at Target. The store did not take enough measures to protect their workers, so a week later, Patricia was also hospitalized due to the coronavirus. Her son's health deteriorated, and he had to be connected to a ventilator. Sadly, he did not survive. He passed away May 10th, on Mother's Day. His name is Everett Laguna. Patricia is devastated. Her loss is immeasurable, and in this time of imminent grief, She's now facing the possibility of eviction. Her son's income helped her pay the mortgage. In the richest country in the history of the world, our current system and systems have completely failed families like Patricia's. Please join me for a moment of silence to remember those we have lost. You may enter their names in the chat if you like. Thank you for sharing. The criminal mishandling of the coronavirus pandemic is killing us. Donald Trump could have prevented many of these deaths. He could have ordered a national shutdown a month earlier. He could have taken executive action to reinforce personal protection supply chains. He could have built a national testing program and so much more, but he didn't. Instead, he tried and tries to deny the pandemic was happening, then tried to downplay its severity when that became impossible, and now fiercely tries to transfer the blame onto anyone or anything else, rather than taking responsibility and taking action to save lives. Our country, our world, is going through various disasters. But we must acknowledge our communities are weathering these disasters differently. COVID-19 is ravaging Black and Brown communities.
Well, good afternoon. My name is Darrell Dakers. I'm a violence prevention program supervisor at Communities Partnering for Peace, an anti-violence initiative housed at One Northside. My team and I work with at-risk youth in Uptown and Rogers Park to connect them with services to intervene to prevent violence. Prior to the coronavirus, Black people, Indigenous people, immigrants were already living through a pandemic. The pandemic of systematic racism and anti-Black state of violence, which has been around since the first colonizers arrived on this continent. I'm the son of immigrants. I'm a firstborn American. I live at the intersection of many oppressive systems, and I know what it is to struggle, feel powerless. I spent 7 months in Cook County Jail for a crime I did not commit, unable to make bail when they set my bond at $150,000 deep. This is why I am so passionate about the work I do. I was blessed to find my voice, find this work, and now I speak on behalf of those who don't yet have a platform to be heard. My clients, the majority of whom are young Black men, were living through impossible circumstances prior to COVID. They face barriers everywhere they turn, stuck in a trap of generational poverty, told by parents, teachers, people they look up to, even the police, that they won't live past the age of 18, constantly even being harassed by the police, most of them. On top of that extreme stress is the fact that as a Black person, everywhere you look in our society, your existence is made to be less than. From the beauty websites that show natural Black hair as unprofessional, to the daily news showing images of unarmed Black people being murdered by the police without any repercussion. What does that do to a person? What would that do to a child? Sorry, just look at this. So when you add up the pandemic on top of it, the conditions in our community are unimaginable. The isolation is wearing on people's mental health. People are starving. They lost their jobs because of COVID. Now they're losing their community. They've already they're already poor. The economy is tanking. We have to literally talk about what's happening in this community. The other day, I literally talked someone out of robbing a grocery store by just buying them a couple slices of pizza. He didn't want to rob a bank. He was just hungry. He wanted to get some food. These conditions breed hopelessness and despair. That's why it's critical that we spend more time understanding why these conditions exist. They didn't just happen by accident. These conditions breed hopelessness and despair. Anti-Blackness exists as a tool of the white and wealthy few to exploit our labor so they can make more profits off of our backs. It's as simple as that. It is the very foundation of this country. We call this system that generates profit from human misery racial capitalism. In this system of racial capitalism, wealthy people who are overwhelmingly white increase their wealth, profit, power from the exploitation, and oppression of the working class and poor people of all colors. This is deeply embedded into our economy, government policies, and cultural norms. It is like the air we breathe. I don't have words to describe the injustice of these circumstances, the extreme conditions my community face, the challenges and hopelessness my clients experiences, such that they end up shooting their own friend that they grow up with because they have no other outlet for the pain and despair they feel. And meanwhile, 500 people grew their wealth by $871 billion in the last 9 months during the global pandemic. So while we struggle, while my community is being destroyed, the inhumane conditions, which were bad enough even before COVID, the world's 500 richest people collectively grown their fortune by $871 billion this year. Jeff Bezos became the world's first $200 billion man. It can be hard to comprehend these big numbers, the difference between a million and a billion. So let's put it in terms of time. 1 million seconds is 11 days and 13 hours. 1 billion seconds is over 31 years. Jeff Bezos has $200 billion. That's a 6,200-year difference in finance. 62 years worth of commerce, and people are out here starving. The police have their role to play in this system of racial capitalism. They were founded as a system to protect the white slave owners' property, their slaves. We've seen in these protests, with these protests, that in the day and in the old daily over policing of Black and brown neighborhoods, that they continue to protect the 1%'s wealth and property. Our system of mass incarceration further provides a guaranteed source of slave wage workers. People in prison work for big corporations for $1 to $3 a day. People are angry. They are at breaking point. They can't take it anymore. And that is part of the reason why we are seeing this mass global uprising in response to the shooting of Breonna Taylor, Ahmaud Arbery. George Floyd. We live in a time of great unrest and public opinion. It's shifting quickly. The majority of Americans now express the support of Black Lives Matter and movements that's happening now. The movement is said to be the biggest in US history. The civil rights movement of the 1960s mobilized hundreds of thousands of people. Millions of Americans have participated in recent protests. I believe that we are on the brink of a major change, but it won't come without a struggle. I have been through hard times. My family has been through hard times. I stand on the shoulders of Alan Pollard, Alvin Dakers, my grandfathers who served in the Korean War and came as working class people, had a barbershop for over 40 years, and still yet face immigration issues and seeing their children get deported over parking tickets. In a moment, we'll listen to a song. Please put in the chat whose shoulders you stand on to draw strength for the struggle that lies ahead for all of us. It can be easy. It can be easy. It can be easy to bask in despair, but we know the answers. We have to divest from policing, invest in housing and mental health and youth jobs. We have to tax the rich and invest in communities. This is our moment. A change is going to come. We have no other choice. Thank you.
In times like these, the world that we are building at One Northside can feel very far away and sometimes hard to imagine. We want to invite you to imagine how different our experience of this moment would be if our aspirations were realized. Imagine a world where everyone has safe, affordable, and stable housing.
Where all workers have paid sick leave and earn a living wage.
Where everyone has physical and mental health care we deserve.
Where the health and safety of workers comes before the profits of their bosses.
Where everyone has clean air and water, and our planet is not ravaged by an increasing number of extreme climate events like fires, hurricanes, and excessive heat.
Where we tax the rich and fully fund public services.
Where our tax dollars are spent on education, housing, mental health, and youth jobs, not a militarized police force.
Where Black Lives Matter and our laws and institutions reflect that.
Where all levels of government are accountable to the people they serve.
Imagine how different this moment would be. Every time we connect with a neighbor around our struggles, every time we use empathy to guide our decisions, every time we build community around shared values, every time we find new allies, every time we take collective action to advance our demands, every time we win a campaign, every time we build our power, we are bringing this world closer to reality.
Thank you so much, Darrell, and everybody who were a part of that. Change is going to come. And as a part of that, we'd like to ask the folks in Zoom, on Facebook Live, on the notebook sharing screens, that we want to ground ourselves in this vision. And we'd like to do so by building a poem together. Chicago breathes a breath of fresh air. A new world is being born. Please enter in chat. What does this world look like? What does she feel like? What part of you gets to live most freely in our new world? And know that in the closing session, we'll be able to read this all together. It's deeply based in a quote from Arundhati Roy that says, "Another world is not only possible, she is on her way. On a quiet day, I can hear her breathing." Ask yourself, what am I doing to help birth this new world? Please continue adding to this poem in chat, and we'll get to read it at the end. Know this new world is on her way, and we will work tirelessly and joyfully every day in collaboration with people around the city, around the country, to win campaigns that help dismantle the corrupt systems of racism and capitalism. Since our last convention, we have grown bigger and stronger and won a few, more than a few, significant victories. And it's important to celebrate, y'all. We're a movement because we're moving. It's important to celebrate. So here are some of our victories. Our mental health justice team secured an additional $74 million in increased funding for mental health services. That'll benefit 24,000 people in Illinois who use Medicaid to access mental health care. Our affordable housing team preserved 25 affordable units at the Wilson Men's Hotel, and we forced the developer to pay out at least $600,000 to the tenants. We also, and I say also, I am not seeing nearly enough Zoom clapping, thumbs up. What is this? We didn't bump this capacity up to 175 for this little hype. I'm just saying. Thank you. We won a ballot referendum in the 46th ward where over 70% of voters showed that they supported rent control. It's a clear message. Our Communities Partnering for Peace program brokered and maintained a peace treaty between two street organizations on the north side, which has significantly decreased shootings in Uptown. Lived in Uptown for the last 4 years. Our Parent Mentors program trained 24 parents to provide over 4,800 hours of additional support in the classrooms. It's so important to have that support. And on the long fight, y'all, we helped raise the minimum wage in Illinois. One Northside has been a part of this coalition for nearly a decade. And last year, Illinois passed legislation putting us on the path to raise minimum wage to $15 an hour. And as well, after 12 years of organizing, it's finally on the ballot. One Northside has worked with coalition partners around the state to keep the need for a graduated income tax front and center. And now fair tax is here. And with your help, fair tax will be real. And we did it through Moral Mondays, lobbying in Springfield, door knocking, and more. And finally, gotta know OPC, One People's Campaign, our sister organization, played a key role in electing alderpeople Matt Martin, Andre Vasquez, and Maria Haddon. We knocked on 20,700 doors, talked to over 2,100 voters, like actually, talk to them. And we mobilized 500 volunteer shifts to support these candidates. And now we're working with these alderpeople to advance our policy priorities in city council. Whew. Okay, that was a lot. I'm out of breath. I need some water. But now we're going to hear about 3 important action steps that you can take today to continue building on these victories to make our collective vision a reality. And first is the Fair Tax Campaign.
Illinois' old way of taxing income is unfair and inadequate. Most other states and the federal government have a fair tax system. Because we don't, working people now pay almost double what wealthy people pay in taxes as a share of their income. That's wrong. And it doesn't raise enough revenue, forcing cuts to schools, public safety, and jobs, while pushing property taxes up. But this November, we can turn the page on the broken old way when we vote yes for fair tax. By passing the Fair Tax Constitutional Amendment this fall, we can ask wealthy people, the top 3%, to pay a little more on income over $250,000 a year, while everyone else, 97% of tax filers, get a tax cut or pay no more than they do now, helping to lift the burden from working folks, easing pressure on property taxes, and raising $3 billion a year to invest in schools and other shared priorities. The old way is broken. Let's turn the page to a better future. and vote yes for fair tax.
Good afternoon. My name is Adele Sims, and I'm a leader of Economic Justice Team. I am here to let you know how important you are to winning the fair tax on November 3rd. Taxing the white and wealthy few is a key step in this fight to dismantle the harmful systems of racism and capitalism. If you are sick and tired of seeing cuts to public schools and mental health services, all of which outsize the impact on Black and Brown communities, then we need you to take action with us to win the fair tax this November. Today, sign the pledge. The link is in the chat, and commit to help us talk to voters. This victory is within reach, but we can't reach it without you. Come on now. Yes, you. Click on that pledge link. Let us know we can count on you.
You heard Miss Adele. Let us know we can count on you. Fill out that pledge card. Please commit to phone bank with us. Or, we need that money, y'all. We need that $3.4 billion to build the world we envision. And we can also ensure that we have the resources our communities need by making sure every single person is counted in this year's census. And now Nellie is going to rock on over to tell us more about that.
Nellie, you're on mute. You're still on mute. Oh, we can't hear you. Try it again. You sounding a little robotic. Try one more time.
Hello?
That's better. Nope, but now you're muted again.
Hello?
No. Let's hear you again. It's not working. Hey, Elia, would you be willing to read Nellie's piece?
Yes, I can do that.
Thank you.
Okay, sorry, Nellie. All right, I have Nellie's piece here. My name is Nellie Moreno, and I'm Census Outreach Worker for One Northside. The deadline to complete the census is September 30th, so that's coming right up. And right now, only 60% of Chicago has filled it out. Trump and his little trolls are afraid of Blacks and immigrant communities showing up in the census count. Every step of the way, he's spreading lies and fear to prevent us doing it. If Trump successfully prevents a complete count, Chicago's Black and immigrant communities will be hurt the most. When we're undercounted, we get less federal funding for already underfunded schools, clinics, and more. When we're undercounted, we get less of a voice in Congress where decisions affecting us are made. Not all immigrants may have the right to vote, but all immigrants have the right to show our strength in numbers through the census. We need to make sure that every single person is counted and that your family and friends are counted too. So we have 17 days left. Please do the poll on your screen, and if you need help with the census, please say so and we can follow up. We only get this chance every 10 years. Please don't be left out. Don't be left out at all. So we have a poll on the screen. All right, so we have results. Congratulations, everyone. 98% of us have already filled out. So 98%. We just need to work on that 2% on this special part here, but we can do it. So just it takes a few minutes. Please fill it out as soon as you can. Again, it's only until the 30th of September, and let everyone know that it's totally safe and that is for our benefit at the end. Thank you.
And now we're back to you, Elia.
All right, and I'm back. So as you have seen, everything that we shared, the fair tax and the census will bring more resources to our communities. But we need a strong, independent, funded One Northside to make sure those resources are spent to build a community where everyone has the opportunity to thrive. Now we will hear from a few leaders that have value One Northside. There is a link in the chat that you can use to donate to One Northside as we show the video. So please, if you can, donate through the link on the chat.
My name is St. Clair. I'm a team lead with the SRO team at One Northside. I value One Northside for their efforts to keep SROs open and keep people housed. The organizers that I work with, Tawana and Noah, are really talented and aggressive in their pursuit of housing preservation. My favorite moment thus far with One Northside has been when we've had meetings with the city and we've gained a little ground with demands that we have. The pandemic has made this crisis even worse, and we've continued to meet regularly to fight for the rights we know the community deserves and need. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Melissa, and I value One Northside because when I moved to Chicago a few years ago, I was looking for a sense of community. I didn't know anyone here, and One Northside gave me that sense of community. It's connected me to like-minded people, and together we're working to address issues that I'm very passionate about. So it's been deeply meaningful for me.
Hello, everyone. My name is Mary Grace Wolf, and I'm a member of the fundraising committee at One Northside. Thank you so much for spending time with us this evening, and I hope everyone is staying healthy. I wanted to share with you my favorite One Northside memory, which was of the 2016 convention. The organization brought together over 1,000 people to commit to the issues that we work on at Lakeview High School. And I was so impressed and overwhelmed by all of those folks streaming through the doors to participate that day. The best part was that they also invited elected officials to the stage and got them to commit to voting our way on our issues. That's power, and that's why One Northside is so effective. I really encourage you to give as generously as you can tonight towards this important work. Thanks again for being here. Cheers.
Very nice. I also value One Northside, and I believe in collective power. So I not only invest my time and volunteer, I put my money where my mouth is. I'm asking you to do the same. Please take a minute now to invest in our organization. Consider becoming a monthly donor. The work we do is more important than ever as we pave the road to the recovery for everyone. So thank you very much in advance for your donation. And please, if you can become a monthly donor, do that. Thank you.
Safe, affordable homes where families can bring their children and elders outside to play and live together, where there is access to comprehensive, quality health care for all, where all people get to have the healthcare they want and treat this pandemic with the resources that we need to take care of all people, where there is access to mental health services and immigrants are not treated as aliens, a world where we abolish the police and end racial capitalism, where we are able to take collective action to address climate change and create a sustainable economy, where we have access to fresh, nutritious food that represents the diversity of colors, tastes, and flavors of communities, where kids can go to schools and have everything they need to live happy and full lives, where parents can engage with their school and the community is involved. In this new world, we have free, accessible public transit to move around the city and connect to all neighborhoods. And finally, where we reimagine public safety, reimagine healthcare, and reimagine housing affordability. Thank you, everyone. Now with that, I hand it over to Jessica to close us out.
Hey, hello, good afternoon. My name is Jessica Haynes. I use she, her pronouns. Today I stand before you as a proud mother with 2 children in nursing school. I am the parent mentor coordinator at Gale School in Rogers Park and a core leader at our Women of Color table, and I represent to our Leadership Council and Political Committee. I didn't think that I would be here today. When I was younger, I wanted to die. I was a victim of child abuse. I was abandoned. I grew up in the DCFS system. I had a horrific childhood. I could have easily been destroyed, but I come to learn that my childhood and my past did not have to define who I am. I was blessed that as a teenager, I was placed in a group home, and that was the first time where I felt loved. I began to care about school, about my life, about my future. I had hope. But unfortunately, as a young child, I had seen the cruelty of the world and experienced total failure by the systems and institutions that were supposed to keep me safe. I didn't want to be a victim anymore. And now I'm filled with rage at how the system let me down, how every institution in our society continues to fail our children, especially Black, brown, and low-income children. Everybody experienced some type of trauma. Black people experience more of it, but we all have been touched by trauma. We need to use those experiences to guide our empathy and our deep desire to bond together to create long-lasting change. And that's why I am a part of One Northside and One People's Campaign. Every campaign we work on touches a part of my life. Affordable housing, police accountability, mental health, public education, and economic justice. I knew I had found my home when I was invited to join One People's Campaign at the People's Presidential Forum in Iowa. There I saw people just like me on the stage with 4 presidential candidates sharing their stories and demanding answers and commitment from the candidate. I have found my voice, and I know that my voice matters. The more I participate, the more I feel I belong. We will only build the world we want when we believe we deserve it. That's why I need you to commit to taking action with One Northside and One People's Campaign. Every day this week, we will send you an email with a summary and action step from each of the workshops. Raise your hand if you commit to spending 5 minutes every day taking action with us. Thank you very much. We are adjourned.
Convention!
Oh, God.
Hey. Good job, everybody. Great job.
Unbelievable.
People.
Thank you, Jessica.
Love you all. Miss you guys.
Miss you so much. Miss you all.
Thank you, everybody. Hi, Mom.
Love you all.
See everybody.
Okay, everybody.
Your mom on here.
And
Hi, Mom.
All right.
Mom, are you on?
I love that. Oh my God.
plans look great, everyone.
That look
Thank
great.
you, everybody.